10 minutes, everybody. So today I want to talk about software and really kind of looking at your business costs and what you do as a small business owner, all the way up to a large business owner. But really, with the small business, every penny counts. Where you spend your money counts. So, right now I'm running a business. It's about 8 people, and our expenses are very, very important for the bottom line and profitability of the company. So I have been doing all the billing and stuff myself. I wanted to do that to get a grasp on costs and understand where we can save money and why we're spending money and so on and so forth. I think for every business owner, you have to at least audit that process. You should be going through at least once a year a deep dive into all your categories of expenses and figuring out if they're categorized properly, and if you have any money going out that just doesn't make any sense. And validate charges that you don't know. Make sure that you know why you're spending money. So a classic conversation or a classic situation is you pay too much for software. So let's just focus on that right now. So I will say this is a Friday video. Should probably be on Monday. So that's a little clue on the software. So we have been paying for the software. It was implemented before I came to the company, and it was about $2,600 a year. And that's a lot, and I was, it was on my radar, but I wasn't worried about it too much. Then all of a sudden it jumps up in price. And I'm like, what the heck? So it went from $26.88 to $38.80. I'm like, whoa. And obviously we get billed weekly, we get billed monthly, so it doesn't come up quick on the fact that it just was a huge amount of money. But so I caught it the second month, and I was like, whoa, I'm going to look into this. So turns out we went from 10 users to 11 users, which makes it so we have to pay for 15 users because that's how their pricing works. The other thing that was interesting is you can't play with their pricing models and figure out how to decrease your costs on their site if you're an actual client. They make it so you can't go backwards. You can't downgrade their software. That's a tricky thing, so go through the effort to do that. The other thing that happened is they didn't want a refund. When I wanted to address it, they did explain their pricing model, which was fine. I get it. So they have stages 3, 5, 10, 15, and so on and so forth. So we just hit 11 users because we have some contract teammates, and that pushed us to that $300. I'm like, wow, without a conversation, without telling us, just boom. So what I did is I did a deep dive on the software to understand what was the loss of going with their free features for users. And a lot of softwares have this, and this is where you can really save some money. So my guys, they weren't really doing a lot of transactions. We use this software to plan our production, to make sure that we have our schedule properly and make sure everything hits on time. People are starting stuff on time. People are being held accountable. Everything's visible, and my sales manager can sell into the capacity. He can tell customers yes or no if we can fit it in. So ultimately, it's a little extra time to update some of the stuff on his own as a salesperson or myself, but it's like almost nothing, and nobody was really updating it anyways. So by reducing them to viewers versus contributors to this, and reducing our licenses to 3 from 15, but also 10, we actually reduced our annual cost to $840. So to round up those numbers, we were originally at $26.88. They bumped us without talking to us at all, and it was a heck of a process. I got a huge email chain on really terrible customer service, in my opinion. And then they bumped us up to the $38.80. And then the result, because it frustrated the heck out of me on how they treated me, they ended up now only making $840 a month off, or a year off of us. So I think it's important that you do these assessments and look at this stuff. And I was picking them off one by one. I started with the softwares that we weren't using. That's another huge mistake. Super easy. Validate that all your auto pays and all the stuff that happens automatically in your business is still usable and valid for your business. People lose thousands of dollars a year on that. I've already saved a ton joining this company and canceling memberships and softwares and things that we tried, but nobody ever went and turned it off. So if you don't spend money, you don't have to make as much money, right? And if you have any ups and downs, which every business does, the less fixed costs you have, the more resilient you are to make it through rough times. So I would suggest, if you own a business, go through your categories, go through all your costs, make sure they're getting categorized so you can see them at a glimpse. You should be able to see what you're spending on marketing. You should be able to see what you're spending on payroll. You should be able to see what you're spending on all your utilities. You should be able to see what you're paying for banknotes and interest. You should be able to see. If you don't see all that stuff as transactions happen in your business, you're really missing out on some powerful tools to help you dive into, hey, why is that so big? One of the things that frustrates me is if the unclassified expenses is huge. You know, it shouldn't be huge. You should figure out categories so that you can understand how to shave down costs or stay on top of costs. Really, it's just a and-on light to say, hey, this bucket is where you're spending a lot of your money. Look in that bucket for opportunity. And then your little buckets that cost a little bit of money, you don't really have to look in those. But a really good place to just hemorrhage money is marketing and advertising, because that's where you sign up for some stuff and just keeps hitting your card. Boom, boom, boom. So I hope this helps somebody. Just step back, assess your business. Make sure you ask your team before you turn anything off. Make sure you understand the implications to changing their abilities and what they can do, because that can cripple your business. But at the same time, don't pay for things you don't need. So have a good day.